Thank you, Jarrod, for joining me here today. We are doing a podcast for Project Forward. And I just have a list of questions for you, just get a little bit about your experience in real estate investing. My first one, of course, is to tell us a little bit about your background.
Oh, wow. Like how far back or just
I guess in general terms, where you're from and then what type of work you did before you got into real estate investing and what type of real estate investing you do.
Okay. Yeah, I was born in Indianapolis, Indiana. A military brat, Army. My dad is a retired master sergeant, and we moved around a bit and then ended up in Arizona. So I grew up in my grade school years in Paradise Valley, Arizona.
Okay.
Then moved to Oregon because he had lupus. Long story, but anyway, couldn't be in the sun, so we moved to Oregon. So did my middle school, high school here, joined the Army myself, and then came back to Oregon and went to college, and then went into the corporate world. Right, I was at Intel for 23 years as a mid-level IT manager,
Okay.
and about 5 months ago, so how I got started in real estate, actually, I didn't start to go into real estate. It was taxes for me. I was getting really kind of upset with the amount of taxes is paying. So I decided to read a book, do some research, found a book called Tax-Free Wealth. And then in that book, it kind of explained the real estate. And that's how I got into real estate, was a roundabout way. So that's actually this guy here. I'm sure everybody,
Okay, and look what I got.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, that is the book for me. That changed that in the last 5 months.
I haven't read it yet.
Oh, wow, you got to read that. It's to me that single-handedly changed the trajectory of my life, really. I mean, and my family's life too. So yeah, I read that book 5 months ago.
That's excellent. Okay.
Yeah. In the last 5 months, I've got into real estate, joined the Gator mentorship, did that for 5 months, and about a month ago joined SubTo. My goal was to get into SubTo. My avatar, as they ask you, is mine is buy and hold, and so
okay.
long term. And so I got in through the tax door, if you will, and now I'm in the SubTo community, and I'm still trying to get my first SubTo deal. But how I got there was the taxes were getting kind of out of hand. Read the book, and it informed me about real estate, and it all clicked. It all made sense to me. So in the last 5 months, I've done all that, and I've also quit my W-2.
Nice, congratulations!
Yeah. Oh, that was scary. It's funny you say that, and people in the community, people that do real estate, they congratulate me. Everybody else on the planet, family included. Now my wife's behind me, but in-laws, parents, people are like, "You're crazy. What are you doing? You're leaving a
really
job."
Okay.
Well, I mean, we were doing really, really well, right? Financially,
Yeah.
It's kind of the golden handcuffs, right? So
that's why the taxes were killing you. Yeah,
it was killing me, and I was just like, "This is so frustrating," right? Especially here locally, where they started doing things with taxes I didn't agree with, and so that kind of upset me. So I wanted to find another way, and here I am. I'm in real estate. So,
all right. Well, welcome to the club. I'm still married to my W-2, but I have aspirations for being in your shoes soon. So my next question was actually how long you've been in real estate. So it sounds like you said 5 months.
Yeah, about 5 months. Well, officially 5 months, but I've done well buying and selling my personal properties over the years. I guess my first glimpse into real estate was in the 2000s, somewhere in there. Because when I first started Intel, I was making some decent money, and I was like, hey, I can buy a house. And actually, I was in Oregon, but I was targeting Arizona because I have family down there. And I was like, cool, there's the before the freeways were built, the big loop, I forget what it is. I don't know if that's a 101, but before that was built, there were some houses that were brand new houses, and they were something like 80 grand or something. And they were awesome. Yeah, now they're like 380 or something like that. I know. I was so dumb. I should have bought, but
inflation.
I didn't. Right, I didn't. And then after the 2008 crash, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna wait for the trough and I'm gonna jump in there. And then I never did because I got too focused on the job, the W-2, or I call it the boat anchor. Honestly, it's a great.
You call it job. The boat anchor?
It was an anchor, right? Like, I'll prove it out. Like right now, I'm in the early stages, so I hope to look back on this in 2 years and go, man, I'm so glad I did that. Hopefully it's not like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. But for me, at the time,
go well.
Yeah, I think it will. I've got enough, I guess, self-confidence, if you will, and
Yeah.
determination to make it work.
And
So
drive. Yeah.
well, I did buy a house already too. I closed on it August 15th in Arizona. And
Oh,
so,
congratulations. Yes.
yeah, I'll be flying down there Wednesday actually to, it's going to be a co-living. It's under construction right now.
Okay.
Should be done
Okay.
the first week in October. So,
So it's a new build? You said it's under construction.
no, it's a single family home, 2,500
Okay.
square foot house in Glendale, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in a B-ish, B minus neighborhood. The
Mm-hmm.
reason I went there is because there's 5 colleges within 10 minutes. The big ones
Mm-hmm.
are Grand Canyon University, Glendale Community College, and I'm drawing a blank on the other one, but ASU West. There's only
Okay.
like 7,500 students there though, but then there's a couple other colleges. But I figured, so the reason that was important was I originally started looking at when I was at the W-2 and got into real estate. I was looking for more of a equity play with a little bit of cash flow to pay for itself and then have a few extra bucks. But then when I decided to leave the W-2, I switched completely. I was looking at that time, Gilbert, Chandler, and Scottsdale was kind of out of my price range, but those type of
Okay.
areas for long-term appreciation with a little bit of cash flow. And then when I left the W-2, it totally changed and went 100% cash flow pretty much.
Yeah.
So that's why I switched. And then I've pivoted a few times. I've been trying to focus on, because in the beginning you're like, oh, I want to do this and do that, and yada yada yada.
I hear you.
So
Yes.
I just wanted to focus, and I landed on co-living, and
Okay.
that's going to be the path forward. We'll see what happens.
All right. Like I said, I have positive vibes. I feel like it's going to work out well. So
Yeah.
you said that was your first deal, or have you done some before other
So
than
I've
your own
done
private residences?
on the private residence. So like currently right now I'm house hacking, right? So
Okay.
I'm renting out a room in my primary home in Oregon, and
Cool.
that actually just happens to pay for the company vehicle that was purchased.
Nice.
Backing up just a little bit, in that 5 months after I read that book, I was living the Ramsey way. I don't listen to Ramsey. I don't
Dave
know.
Ramsey. Yeah.
Right, but I mean, I know that people know that's why I say it. I've never listened to the man, but basically, it's debt free, other than the mortgage. I
Yeah.
had a mortgage, and that was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We used a credit card, paid off immediately for the air miles and all
Me
that.
too. Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
but we had, I had a expensive Denali that was paid for. I had a bunch of toys like the Jeeps and toy haulers and all this stuff. And we used it in the summer, but it was, as Robert Kiyosaki would say, or maybe Tom Wheelwright, but those are liabilities. They weren't assets, right? They're not
Yeah.
paying me.
True.
So
Okay.
I sold it all. I sold all that stuff. And that actually, I think, was
Uh-huh.
the reason my wife was like, ooh, because I was a big off-road guy since like 96. That's my main hobby, was off-roading and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
so I sold it all. And she was like, oh, uh-oh. So she knew I was serious at that point. And so she got me on. I mean, actually, she's going for her real estate license now. So
Oh,
yeah,
excellent.
yeah,
Okay. So she'll be a real partner in crime.
yeah, yeah. She's fairly passionate about it too. So I think we'll be a dynamic duo, if you will.
Yeah, and that helps a lot. I mean, I feel bad for people who, because I'm working with one young lady and she's gung ho about getting some real estate, but unfortunately, her husband just is not, and it is not supporting her in any way. So it's a struggle. So that's a blessing that you have somebody
Yeah.
who is completely on your team and willing to go those extra steps to make sure that you guys are both successful. But I commend you. Yeah, I'm Dave Ramsey. I was trying to get to the point where, well, I actually did do like a sabbatical because that was my goal, was to have enough money in the bank so that I could take a year off and just not do anything, or not do anything, but not do anything associated with my W-2. But I ended up getting another deal where I was able to go abroad for a semester. I still had to do my W-2 work as well because it was connected. But, I was doing a Dave Ramsey to try to get to that point where I'd have the money in the bank where I didn't have to worry about my bills at home when I was abroad. And I have to say that I'm a Gator. And so I'm still kind of subscribed to not having a lot of debt myself. So, that's going to be a little challenge for me to overcome if I do decide to go and buy properties. My daughter is the buyer. I'm the funder.
Well,
So,
after you read the tax-free wealth book and then come chat with me about that.
yeah, I bought that book after I joined Gator. Well, no, I bought that book right before I joined Gator, but I joined Gator, then I joined Gator Elite, and now I'm in SubTo. So I keep having to do the trainings associated with those, and I haven't had time to sit with the book.
Yeah.
But you see, it's sitting right here. It's waiting for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get to it.
If you'd have told me 5 months ago that this would be where I was at, I would have laughed you out of the room. And also having one book change your life like that, I've never had anything like that in my life ever.
I've
It's
had
crazy.
that happen early years of my life. I read a book that changed my trajectory because I was going down a wrong road, and it kept me from spiraling down that road. So it
Cool.
brought me back to where I needed to be. So you've inspired me to read the book sooner rather than later. So I'm gonna make sure that it is by my bedside. So maybe I can get at least a few pages in, if not a full chapter in each night, or at least every couple of nights. So I'm because your story sounds like where I want to be. I want to be able to, remove myself from the W-2 and just enjoy the fruits of my labor, but I want that labor to be something that is really fruitful in general, but also personally gratifying.
Yeah.
So,
Well, for people that may listen to this, I don't want people to think that, oh, hey, you can do this and quit your W-2. Maybe you can, but I will mention this. I did take a buyout. So Intel, a couple years ago, had moved their IT department under a software group, and their target was to get rid of some software developers. And I'm not a software developer; I'm an IT manager. But I talked to my director and convinced him, hey man, I need to do this, and he got me in there. And so I took a buyout, which for me, since I was at the company for 23 years, they paid you a week and a half for every year, and then 4 weeks off of that.
oh,
So I'm getting paid an
okay.
entire, yeah. So just so people know, I'm getting paid right now an entire year for leaving the company. So it's not
Yeah.
like I just quit and then had zero capital, and so I just FYI, full disclosure.
But you were able to utilize that as a springboard. And so that's
Yes, big time.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to leave a year and 10 months anyway, because then that's when I could retire. But this just accelerated that, so I could do it sooner.
Okay, well, excellent. Well, your story, you're giving me a lot of the information that I had in my questions, but I did have a question that you have not answered, which is what advice would you offer someone just getting into real estate investing? Since you're relatively new, you were able to capitalize on that buyout to be able to really jump in and get things done. But based upon your experience and what you've seen and heard from even others, what advice would you give for people just getting in? Because I'm still just getting in as well, so I could definitely benefit from that advice as well.
You're already doing it. I would say, find somebody that's doing what you want to do and talk to them. So, and I can't claim that as my own. I believe, I could be wrong, but it was one of the big guys like Grant Cardone or somebody like that who said, "Hey, find somebody who's doing go do it." So you're in the mentorship, so you're learning from, arguably, obviously, Pace
Yeah.
Morby has done a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
you're learning from other people in the community, and so am I. Like, I've got a couple mentors, multiple actually. Brad
Mm-hmm.
Contreras he doesn't know it
Seen
yet,
that
but he's,
name. Yeah, I've seen
yeah,
that name.
he's in the Closers Cafe. So
Okay. Okay.
he's pretty smooth, that guy, right? And I like the guy. So he happens to be local in Oregon. So I'm in Oregon, but
Perfect.
I invest in Arizona, but he's here. So I've met him in person, talked to the guy. I like him a lot. And unfortunately, I have to go to Arizona for a while, so I won't be able to chat with him in person, but I'll link up in the Closers Cafe and in his meetings and stuff virtually. But yeah, I would say, for anybody looking to get in this, do a little research, find out, what you're trying to accomplish. And then if real estate fits the bill, get with a mentor, somebody's doing what you want to do, and see how they're doing it.
All right. Well, thank you, Jarrod. And before I close out this podcast, can you pronounce your last name for me? I did not want to screw it up, so I want you to pronounce it for me.
It's a doozy. It's a Jarrod Ochsenbein.
Well, thank you so much for participating in my podcast.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.